Hi guys, it's Rob from Royal Balls. I think we've got a Malaysian first to look at today. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody out there, but I believe this is the first clutch of visual desert ghosts to be laid in Malaysia. And while we're at it guys, this is not just a desert ghost project. We're involved in double recessive projects, so let's take the opportunity to look at where we're at in those various projects. I've got Desert Ghost Clowns, Desert Ghost Hypos and Desert Ghost Pieds in the making. Alright guys, very big day today. I've just got home from a day away and I knew this female was about to lay, and she has laid. It's now after lunch, so we're going to pull the clutch. This is probably the first visual Desert Ghost clutch ever in Malaysia. So this is my Yellow Belly Desert Ghost to my Leopard Lemon Blast Desert Ghost male. Let's take a look at the clutch. Everything in this clutch will be visual desert ghosts, and what a Christmas present. They're due to hatch on the 25th of December. Let's take a look. So here she is, small female this one. The desert ghosts we have in ARP and in my own collection are actually taking some time to grow up. There's one rollout egg which we will take away right now. Let's mark that up. As they lay is how they stay, so we'll remove that one to start with and put that over in the egg box for now. And let's get this girl lifted off this clutch of eggs. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so we have another 4 eggs and a slug, and I'm just checking now to see whether she's empty, which she is. She was laid quite nicely coiled around the eggs, so let's get her in a bowl of water. So as I say, a small female this one, and she's given us 5 eggs and 1 slug. That's unfortunate, one little slug egg there. So only 5 eggs from this first time girl. Let's move this out of the way. There we go, so 5 good eggs and 1 slug. Let's take a look at the clutch. There it is in the egg box. I'll just take a picture of that. We'll get these eggs candled, just to check for veins. So this one has veins down at the bottom. That one also has veins at the bottom. Yes, good veins down here at the side. Good veins. And also good veins down at the bottom. So most of these eggs are actually embryoed down. And that's how they're going to stay. So there's the clutch card. There's the clutch. We'll get those off into the incubator, and we'll get the female cleaned up, and I'll show you the male, and we'll also talk a little bit about laying schedules after ovulation and the number of days to count. So this female's not the biggest female in the world, so we didn't expect a huge clutch, and she is a first time female, but she is 3 years old, a little bit of a slow grower. So let's just see how much she weighs after giving that clutch of 5 eggs and a slug. Yeah, not too bad. She weighs 1265, so with another 6 eggs on top of that you can add 600 or 700 grams. So she was probably just under 2 kilos when she laid, so a little bit light. But she is 1260 grams now, so her recovery should be no issue. So here she is in her refreshed tub, and this girl actually ovulated on the 3rd of September, and she shed on the 18th of September, and she's laid her eggs on the 26th of October. So this is day 38 after pre-lay shed. However, it's only day 53 after ovulation. Counting 30 days after pre-lay shed, I find is not as accurate as counting 50 days after ovulation. My girls generally are a little bit late. Day 52, 53, 54 is about normal, but they do tend to shed quite erratically, and counting days after pre-lay shed is hopeless. Now, my snakes lay anywhere from day 32 to 42 after pre-lay shed, so it's not really a very good indicator of when to expect eggs, but counting 50 days from ovulation is a much better measure. She's yawning now. My last clutch of eggs, the pastel Enchi clown girl that you saw, laid on day 54 after ovulation. She was on day 37 after pre-lay shed. So you'll see that counting 50 days after ovulation is actually more accurate for me. I generally look for eggs on about day 52 to day 54 after ovulation, and sure enough, this girl has laid on day 53. So this is my yellow belly desert ghost. You can see she's lovely and clean even after laying those eggs and looking a little bit dull. She's still a nice bright clean snake. Let's get a look at the male that we used for this pairing. So just briefly guys, here is the male that we used. This is a leopard lemon blast desert ghost. He has fathered a number of clutches for me, including most of my double het desert ghost clown clutches. So he's the dad, visual desert ghost, leopard lemon blast desert ghost, and she's the mum, yellow belly desert ghost. So all of these 5 eggs will be visual desert ghosts. Awesome. And due to hatch on Christmas Day. So she's got a completely refreshed tub now. We're going to put her back and we'll feed her in the next couple of weeks, see if she shows any interest in feeding. Most of the girls that I have had lay this year have eaten almost immediately, and by the time their eggs hatch they've almost fully recovered. So let's hope this girl follows suit. She needs to gain some weight for next year. She's quite light at 50 grams now, so we'll focus on her recovery. So we're not just doing desert ghost projects. Desert ghost in itself is worth making. It makes everything better, but we're also trying to get desert ghost into various other recessive projects, and for me the biggest one is clown. But we're also working pied and hypo, so we're going to be trying to make desert ghost clowns, desert ghost pieds and desert ghost hypo. So last year that same male was very busy making double hets for me, and pairing that visual desert ghost to a clown gave us 100% double het desert ghost clowns. And this is an example. This is a female, and this is a killer blast with leopard in it. So this has all the genes from both mum and dad in it, and it's a female, so we'll be keeping this one. The problem with double hets is that a het to het pairing gives you a 1 in 4 chance of getting one visual or the other, but 1 in 4 times 1 in 4 for the double recessive visual is a 1 in 16 shot. So I have a bunch of double het female desert ghost clowns, and also a few of the top quality males which are also double het desert ghost clowns, which we held back. The problem there is that making a double visual is a long shot, so we're going to have to manage that project quite carefully. Also, when you pair het to het, the ones that turn out to be not visual are going to be only 66% het, and that means there's no certainty in the project. So worth bearing in mind, guys, if you're playing this game with hets, double hets, and producing a bunch of ordinary snakes which are not visuals for anything, the genes that you've been putting into your hets are usually the common genes, and so the non-visuals are worth next to nothing, and you will be producing a lot of them. Do bear that in mind. You are basically producing a number of clutches just for that one double visual that you're going to keep back, that's going to change the game. So here is a double het leopard killer blast. This is a female. You can see she's getting some size on her actually, and this female will probably be ready in a year to a year and a half. So I show you that. I have a bunch of them. This guy here that's all balled up is actually a super pastel double het Desert Ghost Clown, and the beauty of this guy is because he's a super pastel, he will pass on pastel to all his offspring. So if we use this guy, pastel in our Desert Ghost projects is an awesome combination. It works really well with Desert Ghost. So I've kept this guy back because he's super pastel and will pass pastel on to all of his offspring. This is another female, and this is a leopard lemon blast, so this is exactly like Dad, but rather than being the Desert Ghost version, this is just a het. It's a double het Desert Ghost Clown, leopard lemon blast, so looks just like Dad, but obviously nowhere near as bright. So this is another female, again packing on some size here. And again, one of the issues with working recessive projects is that when you want to add new genes, there is no way to do that without making hets. So I've made a bunch of hets that have predominantly leopard, pinstripe, pastel in them. And in order to add more genes, I'm going to have to produce more hets. And I only have one female Desert Ghost. She is yellow belly, so any of her offspring will contain yellow belly. That's another gene, but obviously we want to add more genes. In order to do that, I need more female Desert Ghosts to pair with various clown combinations to add the extra genes in double het form that we can use then to add those genes to the project. There is no way to avoid doing that unless you actually buy the genes in ready-made form, but somebody else has had to do the hard work and make the hets in the first place. I'm doing it myself. And this female here is from the second clutch that I produced using that same male. Again, a double het Desert Ghost Clown, but this time we added vanilla to the mix. I used the pastel vanilla clown female, a really nice quality one, and we got a bunch of pastel leopard with vanilla in the mix as well. So this is a super pastel leopard vanilla. So again, a really useful combination with all those genes in it. No pinstripe in this one, thank goodness. We don't want pinstripe in everything, but this one adds vanilla to the mix. So this is the second clutch, and again I've held back most of the females and some of the males in order to increase my chances of getting the double visual. Remember, it's a 1 in 16 shot, so unfortunately there's going to be no way of avoiding producing a lot of stuff that is not going to be double visual. Now, I did also make a clutch of single hets. I paired that same Desert Ghost male to a spot nose female to make single hets, and in hindsight it seemed like a good idea at the time, but actually that was a mistake, particularly since the clutch was a bit of a bust. I think out of 8 eggs I got 1 female, and that female is a leopard het for Desert Ghost, which I have kept. She does have potential to produce a Desert Ghost clutch for me if I pair her to a visual. We should get a better chance of visuals pairing a visual to a het, so she stays behind. But the only male that was of any use to me at all was this guy, and he is a pastel spot nose het for Desert Ghost, and we don't have spot nose in our Desert Ghost project, so here's an opportunity to get spot nose into Desert Ghost. So he is staying, but it would have been far better to use one of my spot nose clowns with the Desert Ghost to produce double hets rather than single hets. The single hets don't do anything for me that the double hets can't do. Double hets could go either way, clown or Desert Ghost, whereas the single hets can only go Desert Ghost. And the double hets also have the potential to produce the double visual, whereas this guy does not. So he's staying, but in hindsight that was a mistake, a waste of a clutch. As I say, at the time I was quite enthusiastic to get Desert Ghost hets, but given that where I am now, that clutch a year ago was a mistake. So this is the female het for Desert Ghost that I kept behind. She's just a straight leopard, but the good thing about the male, and she just bit me as I got her out of the tub, the good thing about the leopard Desert Ghost, the leopard Lemon Blast Desert Ghost that we used to sire this clutch, is that the leopard that he carries is a particularly nice patterned leopard. Don't you dare bite me again. And so this female will be useful, although again she has nothing that the double hets don't have, but it's just a numbers game for this one. It's an extra female who is het for Desert Ghosts, so we can use her to produce more Desert Ghosts. And as I said, I am short of Desert Ghosts ultimately in order to do everything we need to do in these double recessive projects. So that's another keeper from that clutch, but surprisingly out of an 8-head clutch this was the only female we got. Now everybody's favourite from that first clutch, again, this is a double het. This is actually a pastel leopard, but it's hyper melanistic, which makes it almost black and white. There's no xanthic in this mix. This is just an unusual expression with a hypermelanistic tendency, so it's a one-off. I think it will not be passed on genetically, but I kept this male just to see if it will. So here is pastel leopard, and he's almost completely black. Let me show you what a normal pastel leopard looks like. So this guy here is a normal pastel leopard from the second clutch. So I do have another one, but this is what they should look like. This is what I expected it to look like. Again, this is a double het, so it isn't the double het that's influencing this dark coloured snake underneath. But that's a normal looking pastel leopard double het Desert Ghost clown. The one underneath is absolutely awesome. Everybody's favourite, this one, and it's a male, and he is already almost 1,000 grams. He's well up to size already, but I don't actually have anything to put him to. Because he's double het, I could use him with a Desert Ghost female if I had one to produce Desert Ghosts, and we could ignore the fact that he's het for clown and just work with the Desert Ghost side of things. And when you pair a visual to a het, it's a 50-50 shot, so if I paired him to a visual Desert Ghost, half of his offspring would be visual Desert Ghosts. But I don't have enough, so that's the purpose of the clutch that I just produced. So there's another double het, and this one is a little bit unusual. Now this guy here is a leopard hypo het for Desert Ghost, and he is a male. And this is a step forward in our Hypo Desert Ghost project. Because this guy is a visual hypo, when we pair him to, this is a pastel double het Hypo Desert Ghost, and it just looks like a pastel, you would never know. But when we pair this visual hypo to this girl, there's a 50-50 chance that the babies will be hypo. There's a 1 in 4 chance that they will be Desert Ghost, which means that instead of a 1 in 16 shot at the double visual, because we're working with a snake which is a visual on at least one side of the recessive combination, it means we have a 1 in 8 shot. So each clutch we have a good shot at getting the double visual Hypo Desert Ghost using this male. It's a real game changer. If we get the double recessive visual, that changes the game yet again. We can use our double het females with a double visual recessive male, and we have a 1 in 4 shot. That's a 50-50 for one of the recessives and a 50-50 for the other, so a 1 in 4 shot of the double visual if we use a double het with a double visual. So each time you get a visual, it changes the game. Using a visual ensures that at least for that side of the recessive equation, all of the babies that are non-visual will be 100% het for at least that recessive. So you're reducing the uncertainty in the project moving forward. So this guy here is a game changer in the Hypo Desert Ghost project, which means we're actually much closer to producing the visual double recessive Hypo Desert Ghost than we are the Desert Ghost Clown. Now, I do hope to show you guys some of the pied, Desert Ghost pied projects that we're working on. Once I get down to ARP and film down there, I'll show you some of the stuff that he's got in his holdback racks. Again, these are all snakes for the future, and it might take a few seasons to get the double visuals. When they do arrive on the shelves at ARP Constrictors, because of the amount of work and the time that's gone into these, don't expect them to be cheap. These have taken an awful lot of time, an awful lot of effort and an awful lot of work to generate. So there we go guys, the first of my visual Desert Ghost clutches. Only 5 eggs, it's only a small female, and for some strange reason our Desert Ghosts that we've imported from the US have been very picky eaters. We have a number of them, quite a few males. They've all been very picky and slow growers. So this female is actually over 3 years old, and it's taken her forever to get up to a size where I was comfortable pairing her up. She's given us 5 eggs plus 1 slug. She weighs about 1265 grams after laying, so not too small. She's done okay. I would have preferred more eggs, but I'll take that. 5 good eggs, which are now in the incubator, and I'll keep you posted on what we get. The results will all be visual Desert Ghosts. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.